28 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists. By the way, can we talk about him as a rebounder?
Let's start with the big one, Mort. MVP. I would argue 4 guys have separated themselves from the pack.
Yeah.
To some extent. I think it is one of Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Giannis, or Nikola Jokic.
Jokic.
Individually, Jokic should be in there. I just think team record is going to knock him out.
Right. That's exactly my thinking as well. So I think we kind of need to remove him from the conversation, at least right now. Like if the Nuggets improve, he's right back on there.
Right. It's like, it sucks because, I mean, the guy's averaging almost 26, 13.5 rebounds, almost 7 assists per game, shooting almost 58% from the field. Like, individually, he is having an MVP caliber season, but, there are other strong candidates, and, the record is what it is, and it's probably not going to get better with Jamal Murray still out indefinitely, Michael Porter Jr. likely to miss the year. So, I wanted to give him some flowers in this conversation for what he's doing individually, especially after his season last year. I mean, he's been even better this year, which is ridiculous. But unfortunately, I think, it's going to be one of the other 3, at least at this point. So who would be your MVP if you had to choose right now?
Yeah, so I mean, you're absolutely right. I would have gone Jokic if the team had been better. I think it's just such a clear home run if the Nuggets had been good. And by the way, I fully understand why they're not. I mean, injuries, COVID, like everything is just coming up crap.
And their
for them at this
bench
point.
is just garbage, just hot garbage.
It's really awful. So it's Steph right now. I mean, the league's best record. Curry is doing everything. I think I came into the season expecting a little bit too much for him because he was like averaging 32 last year. Mm-hmm. So I kind of thought, he's going to go with 32 again. And then when he started out in the mid to somewhat late 20s, I was like, is that it? Like, could you not get a little bit more? And then I realized I was being completely idiotic because what he's doing is ridiculous. 28 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists. By the way, can we talk about him as a rebounder? He's been really good, not just this year, but over the past few years. And yes, it's something that's only been picked up by Warriors Twitter. It's not something I've seen being mainstream, but he is comfortably over 5 rebounds every single year now. Which for a very slight 6'3" dude, and 6'3" might even be generous, that's good.
Yeah. This is a career high for him right now at 5.6. Also, a career high 5.5 made threes a game. I gotta look at it. I think he might be hitting more threes than Tobias Harris is attempting, which is gonna infuriate me. But,
he is. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, great, wonderful.
Yeah. He's just he's remarkable. Well, the thing I did some numbers crunching earlier this year because he was coming out of the gates insanely hot from 3 as always. He's missed 1 game so far, which is really gonna make this difficult because you kind of needed all 82. But if he were to average 6.09 made 3-pointers per game, which isn't really that far off of his current 5.5 average, and he played all 82, he would hit 500 3-pointers in a single season. That's ridiculous. I mean, that is unheard of. I can't even. How do you put that into anything? It's
like, how many? Go back 5 years, and would that be more than entire teams hit in a year? Probably not.
No,
go back a little further.
Yeah, how many years did you say?
Yeah, five was ambitious.
Oh no, not 5. Look, he was averaging 5 mates in 2015.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, if you're going back to the 2010-2011 season, thereabouts, you would definitely find teams that didn't make as many. Yeah.
It's just, I looked up, not only is he hitting more threes than Tobias Harris is shooting, he's hitting more threes than his brother is shooting. Seth Curry is at 5.3 attempts per game.
I love how you somehow turned this into a Sixers thing. By the way, we need to talk about something because Curry isn't done, my friend. He is actually not doing very well from 2. If you're looking at the numbers, he is only hitting 48% of his 2-pointers. Last year, that was 57. I have a sneaky suspicion that that's going to come around, especially when Klay returns. Because of the added spacing. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Steph actually get a little bit of a scoring bump later on in the year. Maybe to the point where he once again averages 30. And I realize people are going to be like, well, Klay is back. Well, Klay's going to get back into the swing of things first. Like, let's not put Klay into this 20-point moniker straight away. I don't think that would be fair. Yeah. So right now it's Steph for me. But with the caveat that if the Nuggets starts to win, I think Jokic kind of comes in as the foregone conclusion because he's just that much better right now.
Yeah, I actually thought, I think I'm with you. I have Steph right now as well. I think the point about Klay is fair. Like, they are going to ease him very gradually back in. But at some point, once Klay returns, once Wiseman returns, if they flip Wiseman and some of these young guys for more veteran help, say Miles Turner, for instance, there is a chance that Steph just doesn't have to do as much on any given night because Jordan Poole is still around, Wiggins is playing well, Draymond is taking on more of an offensive responsibility. So I do think there's a chance that Steph slips a bit, but if the counterpoint is the Warriors are 20-4 without those guys, get them back or add reinforcements, like there's a pretty good chance that they're going to end with either the league's best record or second best record.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be in Steph's favor. And I did just look this up because now I was curious. I went back to 2010-11. There were 9 teams hitting fewer 3-pointers per game than Steph Curry is right now.
Yeah. Actually, even Steph is hitting more than he attempted per game over his first 3 seasons.
Jesus. It's amazing. He is the living embodiment. Like, every time you clamor for someone to shoot more threes, he is exactly what you're envisioning.
Can we just take a moment and also appreciate that he only played 5 games 2 years ago, and during his 3rd year he was also injured. That was the ankle issue where he only played 26 out of 82, and he is like inches away from being the league's leader in all-time made threes.
Yeah.
Like, he essentially had 2 missed seasons in all of this. God, I mean, it's just difficult to comprehend.
Yeah, he has like reinvented the position effectively.
Right. But so you actually called this a wide open race. So I want to keep going in with the MVP narrative because I think you're right in mentioning Giannis as well.
Yeah,
I think the Bucks have just come out in a little bit slow because of injuries and all that. And it does feel like Giannis, because he won the championship last year, or they won the championship last year, he's come in this year a little bit, now I'm a playoff player.
Right.
I don't think what he's doing in the regular season is necessarily a decline from where he used to be. I think he's just kind of changing things up. And even so, while playing a little bit pedestrian sometimes, he's still right there in the thick of things. Like almost 28 points per game, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 53 from the floor, 68 from the line, which is actually good for him. And 30% from downtown on more attempts than last year. I mean, there is something there. I'm not ruling him out as an MVP, potential MVP winner, but I also think like he's reaching that LeBron thing where he's just gonna go, yeah, that's nice if I win it, but that's not my priority.
Right, and he could be reaching the LeBron thing where it's like any other player putting up these numbers would be instant front runner for MVP, but because he's done it for now 4 straight years, like somewhere in the neighborhood of 28 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists per game. It's like, oh, okay, just another Giannis season, even though these numbers are right in line with what he had in each of his 2 MVP seasons. Yeah. So he's actually the guy, like if I had to bet on someone today to win the award at the end of the season, I would probably put my money on Giannis instead of Steph, because I think now knowing Brook Lopez is going to be out for who knows how long, he is going to have to take on more offensive responsibility. Getting Chris Middleton back, getting Drew Holiday back, like they are starting to be healthy. They've 9-1 in their last 10. Like they are looking like the world beaters that we thought they would be. Like they got off to a slow start, as you said, because of all the injuries. But now, other than Brook Lopez, and Dante DiVincenzo, getting all these guys back, and if Giannis keeps putting up these numbers, they're only a game and a half back of the Nets for the number 1 seed in the East. KD, he leads the league in scoring right now, averaging almost 8 points, 5.5 assists as well. Knowing Kyrie is out and how James Harden has looked for a lot of this year, I do think he deserves to be in the conversation, and he is worth monitoring as well. Like the Kyrie uncertainty would make me hesitant to bet on him right now, because if Kyrie comes back at some point, however unlikely that may be, that could take some votes away from him. So I think it's Steph right now, but Giannis is the guy who I'm definitely keeping an eye on moving forward.
Yeah. It's amazing to me on some level that we shouldn't even be concerned this year that Harden and Durant would steal votes away from one another.
No.
No. KD is just that much. No, but that's what I'm saying. It's when you made that trade, or when they made that trade, you would kind of think, oh yeah. Now all 3 of those guys, their MVP odds are kind of out of the window because they're playing together. But that's just not the case. KD is right there because Harden has taken that step down. And I only got to see the first half of last night's Mavericks Nets game.
Yeah.
So I understand the Nets came back and won it in the second half, but that first half, he was brutal. I mean, Harden was absolutely brutal in that first half. He got blocked on the weirdest shots. He didn't really have any burst. I'm sure he played better in the second half, but in that first half, you're really seeing the age and the minutes and the mileage. This is why I feel uncomfortable potentially paying him a max contract for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm sure the conversation the Blazers are having about Damian Lillard right now, that's maybe having that about James Harden, especially because he's up for, he's going to be a free agent next summer. Yeah, they're going to have to make this decision. The Blazers don't have to do anything. Dame's under contract for a couple more years, so that's this is not what a contract year performance typically is. Usually, the guy explodes in the contract year, and then gets fat and lazy. Harden skipped the step there.
So speaking of fat, let's talk about why none of us don't have Luka Doncic on the.
No, we do not.
So Luka, I'm supposed to be objective, but Luka's my favorite player in the league. I'm European, he's European. There's a bond there. I should be objective, but I'm not. He's my favorite player in the league. So it was reported by Tim McMahon that Luka checked in at 260.
He said 260 plus.
260 plus. And then our friend of the podcast and friend in real life as well, Josh Eberly, he let us know. And he also said this publicly, which is why we can actually say it. He said his sources had told him, and I trust Josh because he's got a lot of sources in Dallas. He's a Dallas guy. 285. Luka Doncic checked into training camp at 285, which is what Zion checked in as during his rookie season.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, because Zion is apparently 330 pounds. Of course, we shouldn't bring up Zion in the MVP debate because he hasn't played. Now, Brian, this is where you are fortunate because you have a fat co-host. So I can say these things. You can't. You need to shut your mouth because otherwise you're apparently fat shaming.
I used to be.
You used to be fat? I don't believe you.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Really? You said that. Now you got to send pictures because I need proof.
Ask Alex. She will happily provide them.
Oh, I will messenger her right after this podcast. But we have to talk about this. Luka is playing not great basketball. I don't think that's all on him, although the weight concerns aren't helping. I mean, Jason Kidd has completely altered his shot profile and his playing style. He's taking so many dumb shots. Like, his shots profile is very, very ugly right now. We've talked about it before. Mm-hmm. But what the hell? Like, he has virtually no competition in Dallas for shots, and like yeah, you have Porzingis, but every offense nowadays can handle 2 stars getting up shots. And yeah, there's Tim Hardaway, but those guys are not good enough to warrant that Luka is right up there in the Jokic category, if you catch my drift. Like,
right,
28 plus points per game, nearing a triple-double, all those things. But he's just kind of lackadaisical out there. I don't know how to phrase it. I just don't. Yeah.
So this was a story throughout the game. There's a story in ESPN right now from Tim McMahon. He said, Doncic's weight and conditioning were a frequent subject on the broadcast last night. Reggie Miller criticized Doncic, saying he was, quote, plodding up and down the court and has got to trim down. And then after the game, Doncic talked about it. Said he had a long summer at the Olympics, 3 weeks off. I relaxed a little bit, maybe too much. I've just got to get back on track.
3 weeks. It took 3 weeks to get up to 285.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. So McMahon's story, because he said this on the Low Post yesterday, which is where a lot of people first ran with it, and so it's in the story too. He says sources told ESPN that Doncic reported to training camp weighing more than 260 pounds for the second consecutive year. His listed weight is 230 pounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you. Fat Luka is not on my MVP ballot, but hopefully he gets in shape at some point. I know he's coming off the injuries too, so.
And that's my next point, Brian, because I think next year, remember when you and I considered like having Luka, or actually I think we did. I think we put Luka as our MVP favorite during his 3rd year.
Yeah.
Or even 2nd year. For 3rd year. And I said, this feels like the Vince Carter thing, like where everybody had him in the 3rd year and it didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of regressed a little bit. I think because of the narrative that's now forming that Luka is like Luka's weight is a problem. I think next year, the 5th year that he's gonna play, that's when he's gonna come in like ready. Like, he is not gonna be like now he's gonna look around and he's gonna go, the word is out. I need to change things up. Because I can't be doing this. And he needs to watch tape of what he did in his 2nd year, because that was the best year he had. I fully realized what he did in the playoffs last year, but I just wanted to bring it up because I think it's unfortunate that he's not in that conversation. Like, he's a guy who's got the talent level and the skill set, but I mean, everything is just off this year. Like, even his free throw shooting is down to a career low, 69%, also a career low in attempts, and like turnovers are up, efficiency is down. Like, this is a really rough year.
Yeah. I also want to say I think your preseason pick of Joel Embiid is taking on water already.
Oh no, I think he did that 2 or 3 games into the season. I am officially dead on that one, which is just. I mean, he's been playing better recently. He's pumping those stats up a little bit, but looking at Philly overall and them ranking 6th in the East with a very 13-11 record. That's not helping anything.
No. Yeah. He missed too much time already. They were too mediocre. It's not going to happen.
And it's also unfortunate, by the way, not that I think he's a favorite whatsoever, but I think he's a guy who's on the fringe, that DeRozan went out with COVID. Yeah. Because every game missed is always going to hurt in the MVP conversation. He's also going to miss tonight's game against Cleveland, so he's going to be out for at least a few games, because they actually signed Stanley Johnson to the hardship exception, which means that you have to have guys miss at least 3 games in a row. So you're kind of sitting there expecting DeRozan to miss more. But he was a guy you could at least argue was on the fringes of that conversation. Not saying he's a favorite, but like he was in that conversation.
Yeah. I mean, again, like Team record plays in here. The Bulls have the
Yeah.
second best record in the East. This is a career best year for DeRozan. He's fourth right now among qualified players in scoring. So, yeah, he could have been a nice little dark horse there. I'm going to look at
League's
his odds.
best fourth quarter performer as well.
He's tied right now with a bunch of guys: Anthony Davis, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, Jason Tatum, all at plus 6,500 on FanDuel for MVP.
That kind of feels like appropriate company, all things considered.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
All right.
Who would have thought we would have said that before the year?
I know, right? Yeah, not anyone who criticized the sign and trade or the size of his contract. That's
right.
for sure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.